Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. So we have some crazy things to talk about right now. We have a Schumann blackout. We have a lot of people that are sending a lot of messages and reaching out in our community about some emotions that are going on that I want to clear with all of you, just so you're aware that you're not alone, just so you're aware that you are not experiencing these things and they're unrelated to anything and there's something wrong. So all of this information is really starting to boil up, and we have a lot of major events taking place right now. Last night, we had a pretty massive geomagnetic storm move through. It was at a level 5. It was around Eastern Standard Times at about 4 a.m. So a lot of people were reaching out really early in the morning saying, oh my gosh, my heart is pounding. I feel super shaky. Totally normal when it comes to a geomagnetic storm. I will put a link in this video to what exactly a geomagnetic storm is, what you need to keep an eye out for, what it can cause for you physically, just so you have an awareness. But as of right now, we're experiencing a Schumann blackout, which is another measurement of the energy within the earth. It is a scientific measurement of how the earth itself, the vibration within it, and the frequency within it is, and if it's stable. Right now, we're in a total blackout, which means that whatever is happening with the monitors, it is completely unable to recognize what's occurring. And we have a lot of things that are going on from an earth perspective, which definitely can cause that to happen and can definitely cause a lot of emotional unrest to take place. So quickly, I want to cover one of the main topics that a lot of people have been talking about. And it's right now some of the unrest that we're seeing from a collective perspective. And there's a lot of words that I can't use on a live or even in a video, or else they get monitored out. So I'm gonna say on an unrest perspective so that you guys can sort of understand what I'm talking about. The reason being for this, we were well aware that things like this were going to take place. Remember, we just went through that cycle with Leo being very strongly connected to the moon, which meant that that masculine energy or that masculine frequency was going to rise. When it is not rising and going in the direction it's supposed to appropriately, it tends to become overbuilt and it tends to become over imploded, and a lot of negativity can come out of it. That's what we're seeing with some of the unrest that's going on from a collective perspective right now within the world. It's also very interesting that the people who are playing out some of this unrest are some of the most heavily masculine energied, over in the wrong direction of the energy of the masculine, and they are really, really boiling up to the surface. I urge you to not become fearful of that energy that you're seeing right now happen, and that's what's adding to a lot of the emotions that many people in the community are talking about. Many are worried about what's going on collectively. So it's making it so this Schumann blackout and all this extra earth energy that's coming up to help clear us is getting stuck. So it's causing emotions like anxiety to pull through. It's causing anger to pull through. It's causing these rapid fire thoughts of not knowing what to do, feeling out of control. All of these old emotions that need to come up and be released are getting stuck because our focus is on something that is out into our 3D perspective, and we are not seeing the bigger picture here. So I'm going to give you some tools on how to do that. Just breathe. A lot going on all at once. We've got this. So what I want to do really for everyone in the community is give you the power to be part of the solution. Hi, Sean. How are you? Definitely, there can be a lot of those things going on right now from a perspective of our lower chakra frequencies, and a lot of those emotions that are coming up, and people trying to define their energy from a masculine or a feminine perspective, and it kind of really boiling up to the surface right now. So most importantly, how do you become part of the solution and not part of the problem and get caught up in some of these emotions that are happening? One of the main things for everyone to really do is become aware of where your focus is. Remember, what you focus on is ultimately going to be what grows in any situation. So if right now you're focused on watching what's going on and being fearful, watching what's going on and wanting to control it, then you're actually feeding the energy that you don't want. And that is one of the most difficult things to understand as we talk about frequencies within the earth, as we talk about all of these things that are going on. So a main thing that all of you have to really focus on is how do you direct your emotions in a positive perspective as opposed to a negative perspective, which can be challenging. That's why we talk a lot about how to redirect energy. We talk a lot about mudras. We talk a lot about mantras. We talk a lot about different asanas or different positions that you can get into during yoga, which can help to filter out some of these things. What has really been working to pull this energy through is a mudra that redirects a lot of the frequency energy and allows it to pull through the fire that's happening. Remember, Leo, all of that anger building up right now, all of this unrest and all these high frequency things that we're seeing, all of this massive energy within the ionosphere when it comes to that Schumann, all fire energy. So a great mudra for it is the fire mudra, which is this middle finger and this thumb coming together at the tip, but making sure that your fingers are kind of pointed and together. I apologize, I had a pen explode today, so I have a little bit of extra ink all over that I definitely tried to remove but could not. So this alone can really help to balance that out for you and to allow some of those rapid thoughts of fear to release out of you. Please understand, if you're getting caught up in fear right now, you are literally feeding what you don't want. It's very similar to one of the best references I can really give are if you're going through a breakup. Good morning, Evelyn. Good morning. Good morning, sweetheart. I love you to pieces. I've been thinking about you all weekend, all throughout yesterday, and just sending you huge hugs because you're making such excellent progress. So many of us are. So one major thing that's really important when you're trying to release some of this energy is keeping your mind straight. And one of the best references I can give is if you're going through a breakup. If you're going through a breakup with somebody and every time they call, you answer their phone call, doesn't that continuously put you in the same cycle of feeding the energy of what you're trying to leave? That's essentially what you're doing if you're watching some of the stories that are going on the news right now, or you're getting caught up in some of the collective aggression that we're seeing. So take a step back from that. Keep that mind in check and be very aware that what's going on in the world around you is also going on inside of you, or else it cannot survive. So therefore, if you're seeing conflict and the need for control going on in the world around us, that's happening within us. And as strange and as uncomfortable as this might be for some people to understand, if you are feeling like you want to control and stop something that you're seeing on the news, that is still the frequency of control. So it still means that you want to have some kind of power over others' free will and choices, which means inside of you, you are not allowing yourself to flourish the way that you need to. And you're trying to control your own self as a being and how you're going to grow. And a lot of that can come out in what we say to ourselves. So a lot of us are experiencing those negative words coming in our mind and saying all sorts of things. A lot of us are experiencing these emotions that are coming up, and we're allowing those things to take over how we're feeling. Please take a moment. Try the mudra. Extremely, extremely useful for releasing that fire energy. We're major right now in that third chakra of the ego. So allow some of that to move through. Also, any kind of breathing technique where you're taking a deep breath in, and as you're breathing out, you can picture almost like a fire releasing. So breathing in and then breathing out and picturing like a fire coming through and moving through all of your prana can be extremely helpful. I love you too, Evelyn. I love you. I love you so much. Last but not least, I'm getting a lot of people in our community discussing how their mental state is getting better, but their physical state is getting worse. And I wanted to cover that really quickly on why that happens. So again, you don't feed those thoughts and allow them to start to stunt your growth or prevent you from moving forward. So you have to picture everything within your being as a frequency. Your thoughts are a frequency. Your body's a frequency. What tells your heart to beat is a frequency and a vibration. And that is science. That's not just from a spiritual perspective. So if you are someone who is going through some physical issues, as you shift your mind, you're going to be changing the vibration that your body's receiving. And the more out of sync those two things are, the more they have to purge in order to come together again. So a lot of people have been experiencing an enhancing in how they feel mentally and emotionally, but their body isn't following suit. There's going to be a period of disparity when you're healing, regardless of the old frequencies releasing, so that the new frequency of what you're now paying attention to and you're cultivating starting to trickle in. So just to make all of you aware so you are not struggling with that. If those things are coming up physically, breathe through them, keep that frame of mind steady, it will lift. But in order for it to lift, it's got to go through that growing pain like anything. In order for any situation in your life to grow, you go through this period of almost feeling lost or trying to figure out how to get your ground again. And that's exactly what's going on internally between the frequency of your spirit and the frequency of your body simultaneously. So hang in there. We've got this. Okay, so just taking a quick peek, making sure I've got everything. We're on a temporary delays. Please do not panic right now with some of the things you're seeing collectively. It is a good thing. It is a purging of energy. People coming out in the over masculine energy that's occurring is going to be seen as extraordinarily transparent. So where this used to be, I can come out, I can behave this way, and people are going to follow me and do what I say. We're going to see people say, look, you need help. I can't follow this. This isn't healthy for me. Even people who feel like they have an enormous amount of control, it is going to be very unique what happens. We are seeing that on so many different levels. We just saw that with everything within our culture, with the virus. There reached a point where people drew a line and said, enough is enough. You're going to have to follow suit. And they started to take back their own power. We're going to see that on every scale. So please don't panic, everyone. Make sure you're feeding the right vibration and not becoming part of the problem. Okay, other than that, happy 2022. Lots of twos there. So this is about unity, coming together, the masculine, the feminine, the dark side, the light side, the negative vibrations, the positive vibrations, the good, the evil, whatever you want to call it, whatever theology you want to buy into, whatever verbiage it is, it's the same thing. It's the unity occurring right now. So those of you who are in the Advanced Astral Life community, you're well aware of that unity mudra that was released as one of the main mudras for the pro community. Utilize that as well as your fire mudra for everyone else out there. So please breathe in, out that fire, hold on to that redirection within your meridians and be part of this shift. We're doing it. It's awesome. All right, everybody, I love you guys so much. Sorry for keeping you so long. I'm here if you need anything. I love you, Evelyn. Thank you so much for jumping on. As always, sending you huge hugs. And if you have any issues, any problems, anything you need, put in the notes. I will be constantly keeping an eye on it. I'm here for all of you, and we're doing great. I'll talk to you soon.